Music listening activates the auditory, motor, and reward networks, and past research that looked at individual interactions between reward auditory and reward motor networks that are linked to music's rewarding and pleasurable nature. We don't quite understand how the three networks work together. So specifically, how does the motor network interact with the auditory reward network, and whether or not different listening modes affect their underlying functional connectivity? So the goal of this current work is to firstly to replicate music listening, enhancing auditory reward network functional connectivity during music listening, and to identify if there's any functional connectivity differences between all three networks during rest and during background versus foreground music listening. We hypothesized that increased functional connectivity within and between networks during music listening compared to rest, and that we will see different functional connectivity patterns between foreground and background music listening. We collected 2 samples, each with 39 young adults from Northeastern student population. For the foreground music listening group, they completed 2 tasks. One was the music listening fMRI task, where they listened to 24 musical clips and provided ratings of how much they liked and how familiar they were with each. They also completed the face name association task, where they studied 30 face name pairs with no music present. As for the background music listening group, 3 theta frequency amplitude modulated and 3 unmodulated song clips played in the background, while participants completed 2 cognitive tasks, one being the 2-back working memory task and the other being the sustained attention to response task, or SART. All our data was pre-processed and analyzed using fMRI prep and the Kaye toolbox, and we conducted ROI to ROIs and seed-based connectivity analyses. Our first finding was that we found significant enhanced functional connectivity within the auditory network during music listening compared to rest. So as you can see in these graphs, these red lines within the auditory network indicate that these auditory ROIs are more functionally connected during the music listening task compared to rest and compared to the face name task. And we see the same red line for all 4 tasks for the background listening group. We also found significant reduced functional connectivity between the auditory and reward networks, and this was more suppressed or more prominent in the background listening group. So this is indicated by these blue lines between the auditory and reward networks, specifically between Heschel's gyri and the insular cortex. And you see the same blue lines for the background listening groups, though these lines are more darker. We also found significant reduced functional connectivity between the auditory and motor networks. So this is once again indicated by these dark blue lines between the motor and auditory networks. And you see the same for the background listening group, though there are some exceptions. One being that for the working memory task specifically, it seems like the supplementary motor area is more functionally connected to the inferior temporal gyri. And you can see there's the same for this is true for the modulated and unmodulated conditions. And for the SART task specifically, the modulated condition, we see that the superior frontal gyri is more functionally connected to Heschel's gyri. Our second main finding was that we found enhanced functional connectivity between the motor and reward networks during background music listening only, but we did not find any significant differences between the modulated and unmodulated music conditions. So looking at the motor and reward ROIs only, we see that there are many red lines between the motor and reward networks, indicating that these ROIs are more functionally connected during the music listening task compared to rest. And that is not the case for the foreground listening group. So in conclusion, it seems like engaging in cognitive tasks during music listening increases within network, but reduces out-of-network connectivity from auditory areas. Specifically, background music but not foreground music enhances motor reward network connectivity, which provides insight into the potential differences in neuromechanisms of the 2 listening modes. Future work can examine the effects of task performance and directly test the difference between foreground versus background music listening with and without cognitive tasks. Thank you for listening.